Every person faces giants. Some are visible, others are hidden deep within the heart. Fear, anxiety, failure, rejection, addiction, loss. At some point, we all stand before something that seems impossible to overcome. The story of David and Goliath reminds us that the size of your giant does not determine the outcome of your battle. Your faith does. The nation of Israel was trapped in fear. For 40 days, a giant named Goliath stepped onto the battlefield. He was over 9 feet tall, a seasoned warrior, covered in heavy armor, armed with weapons no ordinary soldier could match. Morning after morning, he mocked the armies of Israel. He challenged anyone to fight him, yet no one moved. Not the soldiers, not the commanders, not even King Saul. Fear had paralyzed an entire nation. Then David arrived. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a general. He was a young shepherd delivering food to his brothers. When David heard Goliath's insults, he couldn't understand why everyone was so afraid. To everyone else, Goliath looked unbeatable, but David saw something different. He saw a man defying the living God. People laughed at him. His own brother questioned his motives. King Saul told him he was too young and too inexperienced. Humanly speaking, they were right. David had no armor, no sword, no military training, only a shepherd's staff, a sling, 5 smooth stones, and an unshakable faith in God. David remembered something everyone else had forgotten. When he protected his father's sheep, God had delivered him from a lion. God had rescued him from a bear. The God who was faithful in private would be faithful again in public. As David walked toward Goliath, the giant laughed. He couldn't believe that Israel had sent a shepherd boy to fight him. Then David stopped, looked directly at the giant, and declared these unforgettable words. "You come to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied." What incredible confidence. David wasn't trusting in a stone. He wasn't trusting in his own ability. He wasn't trusting in luck. He was trusting in God. The battle had never been about David versus Goliath. It was about God's power against human pride. David released the stone. God directed its path. The giant who had terrified an entire nation fell to the ground. In a single moment, what seemed impossible became a testimony of God's power. Notice something remarkable. Everyone else measured Goliath against themselves. David measured Goliath against God. That changed everything. Maybe you're standing before a giant today, a diagnosis you didn't expect, a financial struggle that seems overwhelming, a broken relationship, a dream that feels impossible, or a fear that follows you every day. Your giant may be real, but it is not greater than your God. The enemy wants you to focus on how big the obstacle is. God wants you to remember how great He is. The same God who strengthened David still strengthens His people today. The same God who gave victory in the valley still fights for those who trust Him. Faith does not deny that giants exist. Faith declares that giants are never bigger than God. So don't let fear make your decisions. Don't allow doubt to silence your calling. Walk forward in faith, even when you feel unqualified. Because God often chooses the unlikely to accomplish the impossible. The greatest victories are not won by the strongest people. They are won by those who trust the strongest God. Whatever giant stands before you today, remember David's words. You come to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord. When you face your battles with God beside you, your giant is no longer the biggest thing on the battlefield. God is.